Okay, so here we go. Okay, so this is for everyone to support living life to the fullest, living every day with joy and happiness, using our skills to the best of our abilities, saying goodbye to the old, welcoming the new, and allowing us to go through life with peace, happiness, and joy in our hearts. Okay, so where do we need to start? Okay, adrenal survival, deep survival. Okay, so firstly, there's a hidden deep survival in there. So the unconscious brain's going, you want me to do what? Okay, so is it stored in the EMC, MMC, PVSS? So it's stored in the periventricular survival system. So the sensory nervous system's overloaded. Okay, so where do we need to go? Okay, so the first little area of the brain showing up is the Cerebellar Burnis. This is a little area that tries to connect what's going on in life with what our body is doing. So, or what's going on in life with how we're feeling. So one of the things that often happens is that people come in and say, my life is really, really good, but I'm feeling this and this and this, and they can't reconcile the two together. Yeah. So there's a pain and punishment circuit in there around that. So releasing any and all pain and punishment circuits that are stopping us from living our best lives. Releasing any and all pain and punishment circuits stopping us from being happy. Releasing any and all pain and punishment circuits stopping us from living life with vibrancy and high vibration. And yeah, truck outside. Hello, hello, goodbye truck. Okay. Next little area is the subclosal gyrus. This is an area about depression. This is an area for internalized rage and anger. And there's a wanting to run away from that sort of energy. And I think, people, if you sort of imagine trying to wake up every day feeling vibrant and alive and happy, why would your brain work against doing that? And sometimes it's the thing about the fear of failure. We don't want to try something in case we fail. Anterior singular gyrus. Okay, now this is a little area to do with compulsions, obsessions, wanting things to be perfect under stress. And I suppose at the moment I've been the go-to person this week for organising things. Which is fine. I'm actually quite liking having control to a certain extent. But there's a million people who are wanting to help, which is amazing. Okay, reticular activating system. So living life with vibrancy and joy. Living life in highest vibration. living life with love and compassion. Because that's everything Mum was. Okay, reticular activating system. Okay, so low serotonin, that explains my sleep this week. Yeah, and a real vigilance going on. I am, however, coming up with really good solutions for things at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Amazing how little sleep you can get by on with 27 coffees a day. So I need to look after myself as well at the moment. Okay, subclosal gyrus again. So the subclosal gyrus is this part of the genetic connections to our family, familial history up to 7 generations, and part of it is that whole serotonin, anger, depression spectrum. But there's also, it can get bigger. So because this is the second circuit, I'll see what the second level of that is. Before it was just the general pathway. So this time, let's have a squeeze. Okay, so when you lose someone, you realize how codependent you are on them for certain things. So this is about docility, submission, codependency. And the last thing you want is to hide away in a hole for the rest of your life when things change and shift and shimmy around us. We need to raise that vibration. Stomach ones. Okay, and then there's a pain and punishment circuit as well. Yeah, so when there's trauma in anyone's life, that docility, submission can happen. When people have PTSD, it can really kick in. I'm not saying that's happening with me, it's really not. I think it's been quite phenomenal, but I know there's a lot of post-traumatic stress going on the planet with everything that's happened in the last year, and just that crazy, well, here in Australia, there's massive levels of coercion going on. Which on Sunday afternoon, Mum spoke at a freedom rally about that. And of course she did. Okay, there's another RAS circuit. Once again, living life to the highest vibration, living life to the highest frequency, having love, compassion, happiness in our souls, love, compassion, happiness in our hearts. Okay, so RAS. One of the comments someone made on Facebook about my mum was, the best thing about Joy was that when she saw you in the street and gave you a hug and said hello, it was like you were the only person she wanted to see on the planet that day. And that's just so true. That's exactly how she lived life. And by next Saturday here in Queensland, she would have only been allowed to have had 20 people at the funeral. And she's got 8 sisters and 2 brothers. There's 4 of us siblings, all our partners and kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. It just would not have suited her. She would have come back and bloody haunted them. Okay, another RAS circuit. Let's have a squizzy. So this one's about noradrenaline. So once again, there's pressure when you want to live your life happily. What do you have to do to make yourself happy? What do you need to change in your life so that every day is a joy and every day is a blessing? It's creating a world around us where there's visual cues of that sort of thing. It's creating an internal world around us so that we can be at peace and see the possibilities. And that is a responsibility in its own right. So this is the brain expecting long-term stress around the possibility of high vibration and high energy and high levels of happiness. So noradrenaline, we need to calm that down. Yeah, and that creating some vigilance in the nervous system. Buzzing outside going on, isn't there? Okay, so now let's finish on a tuning fork combo. Lung energy, lung, grief, guilt, regret. We'll see if there's anything specific there. Humility, openness, intolerance, being stoic, too stoic, okay, too stoical. Interesting. Okay, and what's the second? Coordination, small intestines. So small intestine, the first emotion under small intestines is joy. Let's have a look. Yeah, right, shock, sorrow, sadness. No, just shock, sorrow, and sadness. Okay. Lungs and small intestines. My lung tuning fork had been missing for a couple of years, and a wonderful suggestion to use something to pull it out, and we now have it back in its box. Fantastic. Okay, so the tuning for the flower essence combination of these two is called Silver Princess. Silver Princess is for feeling aimless, directionless, a lack of focus, a lack of motivation, and it's really about getting rid of that to allow you to live your life's purpose. So how perfect is that? Okay, so guys, I take responsibility for my attitudes. Actually, I'll stop and start again just for the tuning forks, because I love